What is up, Rat Potential, and welcome to today's video. We are working on a car in a place that is new to all of you. So, this is my basement. Yes, inside, climate controlled by me, and soon to be, of course, all the projects, build a bar, do the whole deal, make it a really sweet man cave. But you can't have a Corvette if you can't keep it inside. So, I keep my car in my house, on the carpet. I also kind of made a deal with myself to not ever work on a car down here, but because the rally car is still in the garage and non-movable, and my Corvette can't exactly make it into the garage, it's too steep, we're going to be doing it down here. So, we are going to bleed the brakes in preparation for the track day. We've got Motul RBF 600. I only have these two little guys. I'm not planning on bleeding or flushing the system dry and refilling it. Basically, I'm going to fill up my pressure bleeder, and I bought this fancy cap for the Corvette on the internet. I'm going to fill up my pressure bleeder with this, and then I'm going to pressure bleed all of that stuff out until my pressure bleeder is empty and the brake system is full. So I'm just going to pump all of this in there, and then whatever ends up me being full, maybe leave a tad in the base of this just in case. That's just going to be the end of it. There's nothing that really says you must flush your brake system completely dry so that you can't mix things like if you run certain coolants with other coolants. But anyways, so details on the car. This isn't just your average Corvette, but it kind of is. This is a 2006 Le Mans Blue Z06, and it's got red interior. The car has about 68,000 miles on it right now, and it is 100% bone stock, and by that I mean bone stock. Mine fortunately came with the charcoal wheels, and the Mons Blue is a pretty rare option. So this is my dream car. That's why it's in my basement. The other thing, the reason this does not appear on the channel that often is because it runs all the time, so I don't have to work on it. Knock on whatever I can. And two, I don't know. I like it stock. It runs good. I can drive it to work. It's quiet. Doesn't smell. Beats all the rotary cars for a practical car. So I'm going to go ahead. I've built these fancy ramps. I'm going to jack this thing up front and rear, pull the tires off in here, and we've got some clear hoses we're going to hook onto the brakes, and then we're going to start bleeding the brakes. And I'll show you my pressure bleeder. It's custom, but it should work with this. I just got to do a little adaptation, and we'll be ready to go. So the nice part is that it is 30-something degrees outside, 40-something degrees, pretty chilly, and we get to sit in here in the heat on the carpet, and I'm probably going to go put shorts on because I'm getting hot. So let's get to it. Alright, my dude, so now that you got your wheels off, the next important thing is you have to bleed your brakes, or what I would say is, before you even bleed them, which they should be bled already, you need to flush out all of the old brake fluid that's in your car. So for example, my Corvette, 100% definitely had the original brake fluid in it still. Corvette owners, although they keep their cars looking nice, sometimes little things don't get maintained along the way. So we are flushing it out with some cheap .4 from the store. So if you look at brake fluid, the reason brake fluid has the dot numbers and stuff, higher temperature, different chemical compounds. So .4 can take more heat than .3, but the chemicals that they use to make .4 will attract moisture. So you'll get water in your brake line. So you got to change it or flush it every so often. So keep that in mind if you're switching. Now, the Motul RBF 600 is .4. What's its temperature rating? 383 degrees Fahrenheit. Now, if we go ahead and look at this one from the store, 311 degrees Fahrenheit. So, 100 degrees difference in heat. However, you're not going to go through and flush these lines perfectly clean with water and clean them and make them perfect and then refill it perfectly with your motor tool brake fluid. So, I mean, that's just not what you do. So, what you're going to end up having is a solution of whatever you had in here and that. So, my goal was I'm going to take the cheap O'Reilly stuff. I'm going to flush all the dirty crap out of it. See this here? That came out of my brake lines. And then I'll flush the clean stuff out with the expensive stuff. So, now, long story short, how do we do that? So, I have a pressure bleeder. This is a little Ace Home Garden tank. Comes up here, got a little gauge. You buy this cap that goes on your reservoir to fit your whatever car you have. Fill up the brake reservoir, put brake fluid in the pressure bleeder. I only usually go to about 8 or 10 psi. Put 8 or 10 psi in it, go around and open both rears. Once the rears have flushed out, open the fronts. As you can see, I've got a little piece of vacuum line here going into a Taco Bell cup. Some people have fancy bottles and stuff that go on there. This side, same thing. Little line going in a Taco Bell cup. And the intent is, you'll be able to see it just pouring out of there. This is fresh and clear. So, once you have your clear brake fluid flushed, then what I'm going to do is I have a syringe and a little dropper over here, this guy. This and this, and I'm going to suck out all of the brake fluid I can out of this reservoir. Then I'm going to top the reservoir off with the Motul fancy stuff. Once we get it topped off with the fancy stuff, we'll switch the fluid in the pressure bleeder for the fancy stuff, and then we'll repeat the process. And basically all I'm going to do is bleed all of the fluid that I have out of here into there, and that should, in theory, there's more RBF 600 than what this brake system has capacity. So if I pump all of that through it and pump the whole thing out, we should, in theory, be full of that. So that's the intent. I'm just waiting for these to get cleaned up. Just about done. We'll switch that and we'll get back to it. So I'll show you that process. So let's get going. If you notice, it is another day. We've got numbers on the car now. We got rad potential on the roof because we're rad. I had to get new front rubber because my one tire had some excessive wear. So I got a fresh set of Extreme Contact Sports for the front, and we're still going to be rolling on the Pilot Super Sports for the rear. So I also have some track armor on just to protect my paint. I'm a Corvette guy, right? So we got to do that. So, you guys are going to see me switch all this out, and then we'll show you at the end. Alright guys, so it is currently the end of the video. No, I don't have the car back in the ground, but we're going to film the outro anyways because camera battery is getting dead. I want to charge it for the track day tomorrow. So, the rundown. What you need to do. First, jack your car up. Take wheels off. Make sure all your bleeders are loose. Get some sort of fluid, brake fluid, to flush the system out with. Okay? I suggest At least do that unless you just put the whatever fluid in. So flush the system out with that. Spend the $7. Run a full big jug of that stuff through your brake system so you know it's fresh, you know it's clean. Then go ahead, set the same bleeder up, put your fancy fluid in there, and push that fluid into the system. Make sure your thing stays topped off and you don't ever push air in there. That's bad. Make sure your bleeders are all tight when you're done. Make sure your lug nuts are all tight when you're done. And then go rip it on the track or wherever you're going to go tear it up. So, that same principle, Corvette, CTSV, RX-7, Focus ST, whatever you say, same process. Buy the cap you got, buy the right cap for your reservoir, get a pressure bleeder, get the fluid, switch it out. Easy peasy. So, with that, we're going to conclude this episode of Radformation in the Rad Ranch basement. And probably not the last time we'll work on the Corvette down here, but for now, it's the last time. So, thanks for watching. I will link the track day up over here because most likely it'll be uploaded before this. And, yeah, tear it up. Have fun. Enjoy your car. Buy them to drive them. Keep it rad.